Alright, welcome back. If you clicked on this video to watch someone try to make an extra income stream by selling options and see if I can make that work, you've come to the right video. First and foremost, thank you so much for clicking on it. If you like this kind of content, help it reach other people by hitting that like button. That's all I ask. And I also want to put out there, I started a private chat group over on WAP. And I mentioned this in my last video, no one ended up joining, that's perfectly fine. But if you're wanting to check it out, I did add a 3-day free trial, so you can come hang out with me. And hopefully we can build this to a community of like-minded option sellers that can build off of each other, share ideas. I also share my trades on here if you want to follow along, the good and the bad. You can say, haha, that trade sucks, or wow, that's a good one. So that'll be linked down below if you want to go check out the free trial. But what can I say? The portfolio just keeps chugging along. And I don't even know really what to do at this point. I got to buy to close a lot of Sofi options that I was selling. And I also opened some new Sofi puts that I sold. Sofi actually surpassed $28 today. We'll look at this put here in a second, this specific one. And if you're new to the channel, I've been selling options on Sofi and generating income for quite some time. And what I've been doing is I take the money that I make from selling options on Sofi and reinvesting it back in the shares of Sofi. So we're sitting at 6,545 shares right now. An example of a trade, if we were to sell an option, let's say we're open to the idea of owning 100 shares and buying 100 shares of Sofi at, I don't know, $26.50. If it goes below that, by next Friday. So essentially what we're doing is we're selling an insurance policy and someone's going to buy our insurance policy, aka they're going to buy a put, which gives them the right to sell 100 shares to me at $26.50 a piece if Sofi drops below $26.50 by the expiration. In our case, it's next Friday. Because I'm selling this put, and like you do when you usually sell something, you sell something for money. It has a dollar amount. I'm selling this insurance policy, we'll call it, for $23 each. So if I sell one put, I make $23. If I sell two, I make $46, etc. And today I ended up selling two puts on Sofi with a strike price of $26. On average, I made $39 from each of these. So in total, if we scroll down, we can see the exact trade. I made $78 from selling two of these puts. And these puts have already depreciated because Sofi throughout the day just kept going up. And so if I were to buy to close this position right now, I would be paying $48 as we see right here. And my net premium, so the premium I got initially when I sold these versus what I would buy to close these for, is $30 if I choose to do so. And I'm not going to choose to do so. I'm going to let this go until next week. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to go ahead and calculate what's my total return from this one trade. Because I love to crunch the numbers. I'm kind of a nerd like that, I guess. And what you can do is you can take the knowledge from this and apply it to stocks that you like. You might not like Sofi, but let's say you like Palantir or you like Ford or whatever the stock may be. You can apply the same methodology to those stocks as I am to Sofi. So I'm going to head over to my web app and you can go check this out. It's totally free. Over here we have option selling calculators. So at the top you can go to tools, option selling calculator. And what we're going to do is crunch the numbers on this put that I sold. So the option type we're going to leave as put. The expiration is next Friday. The expected premium, this was 0.39 because I got 39 cents per share. And then the strike price was $26 and I sold two total contracts. If we calculate, we can see what we already know. I made $78 in premium. However, what was the ROI? What was my return on investment? My investment being the money I had to hold up as collateral when I sold these puts. Because when I sell them, Robinhood takes $2,600 and ties it up as long as this is still open. And they do that in case if Sofi drops and I have to purchase those shares, I have the money to purchase those shares. So the premium over the amount I had to set aside for collateral is what calculates our ROI, and I made 1.5% ROI with that in mind. In other words, if someone says, hey, I have an investment for you, and it'll take 8 days' time to turn out, and you'll make 1.5% return on investment, would you think that's a pretty good deal? And me personally, I do. I think that's a good return, and I'm super happy with it. And then what I do with the $78, I put it back into shares of Sofi. So I could buy what, like to almost 3 whole shares of Sofi with selling those 2 puts. And then if you sell multiple puts a week and those end up expiring worthless and you continue to do so, you can actually accumulate a lot of shares over time. And that's what I've essentially been doing here. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to go join our private community and our private chat, go check it out. There's a free 3-day trial. And who knows, you might be the first one to join. But I hope to see you at least in a future video. Thank you so much.